I am Elara Foster, and I am 28 years old. I live in the quaint little town of Willowdale. From the outside, my life looked like a picturesque painting. I had a cozy little home, a decent job at the local bookstore, and a small circle of friends with whom I shared laughter and a few secrets. But below that surface, something dark was brewing, and it all started with a betrayal that turned my world upside down. It began when my best friend, Mia, and I both applied for the same promotion at work. We had worked together for years, supporting each other, sharing dreams, and building a friendship that I thought was unshakable. I was convinced that Mia would be genuinely happy for me if I got the job, and I expected to celebrate together. But instead, she orchestrated a plot that shattered my trust and filled my heart with an unbearable weight. I found out, quite by accident, that Mia had been undermining my chances, whispering lies to our boss, and feeding doubts about my abilities. I was devastated and furious. How could someone I once considered family hurt me so deeply? I felt like I was standing at the brink of an abyss, staring into the darkness and wondering if I could ever climb out again. The pain of betrayal, mixed with a burning desire for revenge, overcame me. I knew I had to act. Initially, I thought about confronting Mia, but I realized that her manipulative tactics had roots far deeper than I imagined. Instead of dealing with her directly, I decided to take a different route. I would achieve my version of justice without ever having to face her. I quietly researched ways to give her a taste of her own medicine, to fill her with regret and jealousy, and to show her that the world does not revolve around her schemes. I began to change my routines, living as though I had nothing more to lose. I started becoming more social and connected with people around town I had never considered friends before. I planned out events to display how much fun I was having without Mia. I organized small get-togethers at my house, inviting anyone I could think of, and making sure to share pictures online. When I threw a little spring gathering, I even invited Mia, knowing she would feel the sting of embarrassment when she saw everyone gathered, laughing, while she stood apart. But instead of showing up, she ignored my invitation, and I knew I had struck a nerve. I felt an uncontainable rush of satisfaction. My plan began to unfold as I discovered that the more I distanced myself emotionally from her, the more her jealousy began to fester. I received unexpected attention from a charming guy named Jake, who frequented my bookstore. I took it slow, but I made sure to drop hints to Mia about how sparkly my life was becoming. I would tell her casually about our book club meetings at my place, emphasizing how I held intriguing discussions with Jake, not directly, but enough to plant seeds of regret and longing in her heart. Soon, I learned that not only had she tried to sabotage my career, but she also began meddling in my personal life. Mia reached out to my colleagues, spreading rumors about me that started to undermine my credibility in the bookstore. At first, I felt dejected. Why was she so obsessed? I was only living my life, yet she wanted to drag me into the mud. I sank lower than I ever thought possible. With that, I had my darkest moment. I thought maybe I had gone too far. The allure of revenge began to decay, replaced by the bitter taste of defeat, but I did not want to give up. To take it to the next level, I planned carefully for the summer festival that Willowdale hosts every year. It was not just a gathering. It was a celebration where the entire town turned out to showcase their talents and crafts. I signed up to give a presentation of my book recommendations and even volunteered to be part of a local theater play, knowing Mia would be cheering for her own tryout. I put everything on the line. The spotlight would be on me, and I would rise while she festered in the shadows. As the festival approached, I could sense tension somewhere between excitement and dread building within me. I practiced every line, rehearsed every nuance of my performance, pouring every ounce of emotion into those moments. The evening of the festival, I stepped onto that stage and felt a rush of adrenaline like never before. As I spoke with passion and shared my joy for literature, I could see the faces in the crowd, and when I caught Mia's gaze smoldering with jealous fury, I felt an undeniable confidence swell in my chest. This was my moment of triumph. As the applause rang, Mia's presence felt like an anchor weighing her down. The incident spiraled when she approached me after the event, trying to play it cool, but the bitterness in her voice betrayed her facade. Her attempts to regain the power she thought she had over me only fueled the fire of my resolve. I realized then that the wounds she inflicted had shaped my strength. I had transformed from a victim into a powerful force. In the end, Mia received news that her deceptive actions had been uncovered, and she was let go from her position shortly after the festival. I had maneuvered brilliantly while desperately holding on to the threads of my dignity and self-worth. The cycle of jealousy and revenge proved large enough to reclaim my happiness and rebuild my career. Now, as I stand at the threshold of a new chapter, I find myself reflecting on that tumultuous time. I learned that revenge can be sweet, but also a powerful catalyst for growth. As I look around at my town, I see familiar faces filled with gratitude for the support I rendered during my silent battle against betrayal. I might not have erased the scars, but they became a part of me, writing a story of strength, determination, and ultimately, triumph. Willowdale feels different now, not just a place to live, but a canvas for new beginnings, free from the shadows of her scheming heart. And most importantly, I discovered I even have the courage to be happy again, a lesson that no jealous heart can take away from me.